2 years ago, my babysitter and her friends tried to kill me. The worst part is, nobody believes me. And now, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I miss her.
You're a weird little dude with a crush on a murderous, fictitious babysitter. We just gotta get you laid.
Look, guys, I am 30 years old. I'm starting to bald. I say starting. I'm continuing to bald. Life is falling apart around me. I have a child. This is not a movie for me. The Babysitter, Killer Queen. I forgot the title because I'm slowly dying. I basically have Alzheimer's. Babysitter, Killer Queen. Not made for me. This is very much a film made for teenagers and young adults, despite its overabundance of seemingly nostalgic references. And yet, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, let's go, Cole! Oh, you okay? You look like you seen a gorgeous black ghost.
Like, it's not for me. It's a film just filled to the brim with just cringe and corniness, and it's immensely fun. I wasn't actually a fan of the first film, The Babysitter, from 2017. I was not. I didn't hate it or anything, but it didn't do much for me. I enjoyed Samara Weaving. I thought Judah Lewis was great as Cole. All the acting was great. Robbie Amell stole the show any scene he was in. Like, it had all the elements, but it's just one of those films that it needed another pass for me. It had a very maybe too linear of a script. It was one of those movies that felt like it went straight from the second act to the ending, if that makes any sense. And structurally, it is fine. It just, the way it was put together, it didn't quite work for me. And I understand a lot of people love that movie. For me, it just wasn't quite as good as it should have been, but it was pretty good. It was all right. Now, The Babysitter Killer Queen does not have that problem. It does lack some of the charm of the original. I think there is definitely a bit of heart at the center of The Babysitter that is not quite there with Babysitter Killer Queen. Babysitter Killer Queen is very much it's a sillier film. It's extremely stupid. It goes all in on the jokey aspect. It does have a slight warmth to it, especially near the end. There are elements there, but for the most part, it feels very much like a film that, recognizes that it has a lot of very good comedic actors and has a very manic tone, so it might as well just go all in on that side of things. So it's really, as far as the horror goes, it's very gory. It's very violent. It is by no means scary, which I don't think the first one was really scary either. The first one has a good kind of 80s horror build-up to it, but it, in the end, is also very silly, with a very, again, warm final moment. I think that final moment between Cole and B is, it works really well. And this film plays with that moment a bit. It expands on it. And whether or not that expansion works for you is, that's up to your personal sensibilities. For me, it worked really well. Now, what this film is to me is escapism. And of course, we're in a period of time where escapism is a hot commodity. And is it smart? Not by a long shot. It is not a very smart film. It is very smartly written as far as from a screenplay perspective. It has much more beats to it than the first film, and I felt like, and mind you, I haven't watched the first film since it came out, so it's been 3 years. But to me, it felt like a film that actually was much better structured. I felt like it led to its finale in a very filling way. It felt like I had seen a proper full-length feature film that didn't take any, it didn't skip anything. It just it had its beats. It had a nice sort of nice base to it. It had a lot of flavor. It had that umami. And I really enjoyed just having this little adventure with these characters. And what fascinates me about that is it really shouldn't have worked. McG is a hit or miss director, to say the very least. I personally don't have any serious issues with McG. I think he has always been a bit of a maybe, I don't know. Charlie's Angels is fun. It's very dated, which I think helps it a lot. I think it is aged extremely well because of that. As far as his other work, Terminator Salvation has a great trailer. Charlie's Angels 2, I remember being fun but aggressively stupid. I never saw We Are Marshall, and I feel like there's something of his that I just don't remember. Oh, actually, This Means War. This Means War is actually a really fun romantic comedy. So, I like McG all right. As I said, not a huge fan of The Babysitter. This one, I think it really taps into his manic energy. I think that he downplays his style where it needs to be downplayed. It could have been downplayed a little bit more. I think The Babysitter, for all of my issues with it, it is pretty much exactly where he needs to be stylistically. There are a few moments in this film where he goes too far. There's a fight scene between two characters near the end that is extremely stupid and was one of the few overly stylized moments that really took me out. There are a lot of vignettes throughout that I think work pretty well. They are very dumb, but I think that because the movie that they are in is so dumb, it kind of just plays into itself. Regarding Samara Weaving is in this movie. She's just not in it a lot. You can tell that she's kind of a hot commodity right now. I really like that she's like this kind of queen of horror at the moment. She just seems to be primarily a horror actress, and that's awesome. She's basically a scream queen, I guess, which works with the title in a way. So she is in this. When she is in it, it's very welcome. But at the same time, let's see, what's her name? Emily Allen Lind as Melanie. She kind of takes over in a way for Samara Weaving for most of the movie, as far as being like the hot blonde character. Not to spoil too much.
Cole, you're my best friend. You're not crazy. It's this place. We're all going to the lake this weekend. Just come with me. I already took my dad's car.
And she does a great job. You definitely feel the absence of Samara Weaving to some extent, but I think if you came into this not having seen The Babysitter, it wouldn't negatively affect you. I mean, it might confuse you a bit. You wouldn't know what the fuck's going on. I feel that she does a great job taking over, and then in the end, it feels like a very natural takeover as well. And a big part of that is this movie, it ties in directly with the previous film. When I saw the promos, I never watched the trailer, so I don't even know how this was advertised, but I did see that one promo still of a few of the, Robbie Amell, what's the guy's name? I don't remember any of the actors' names in this movie. Bella Thorne, Hannah Mae Lee, and Andrew Bachelor. I remember seeing the stills of them and saying, okay, well, this is just them, getting the easiest actors to get from the original and doing a new thing. It felt like something that was, just aping on the original and its success. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, no, this is actually a direct continuation that picks up on the themes, has a fun little twist with one of the characters, and just moves things forward. And I think that's great. That's wonderful. Stylistically, it is very different, but they make a lot of references to Terminator 2 in this movie and it being a better sequel than the original. And I get it, McG, you directed a Terminator, so you're going to make Terminator references. This is way better than the original. This is very much a film that it's a film series coming into its own, and I think that is fantastic. Speaking of those supporting actors, Robbie Amell does a great job. He steals the show every time he's on screen. I love Robbie Amell. The rest do great. Andrew Bachelor, he does that kind of stereotypical black guy routine, but not to an aggressive degree. I think he balances it pretty well. He's generally pretty entertaining. I would have preferred to see more Robbie Amell than more Andrew Bachelor, but whatever. I think Robbie Amell gets the better moments and in the end gets a better impact for his character. Oh, and Bella Thorne. So Bella Thorne has a lot of controversy over her right now. I would say that if you hate Bella Thorne, well, actually, okay, let me bring it back. If you love Bella Thorne, you still like Bella Thorne a lot. I'm personally ambivalent, but if you really like Bella Thorne, She's really good in this. You'll enjoy Bella Thorne. If you hate Bella Thorne, then trust me, you'll also really enjoy this. I'm not going to spoil anything. You probably guess where I'm going with this. It's really good. Speaking of which, the deaths, the murders, the gore. This has great gore. Now, I just watched another movie last night called Dark Ride. And Dark Ride was one of the 8 films to die for back in 2006, I think. Yeah, 2006. And Dark Ride has a lot of the same problems this movie has without actually like making them charming. It very much deals in nostalgia, and I don't like that. It's very meta. There's a lot of characters referencing movies. The kid from Sandlot is fucking annoying in that respect. And this movie does that a lot better. I actually really liked the characters, despite the fact that they kept bringing up fucking movie and music references as if they were born before 1998. I don't know why, but they did. Maybe current teenage culture has this like fondness for the 80s that I'm unaware of. I don't know. My son is not even 1 year old. I have no idea what teenagers currently are into. I'm an old man. That's just how it is. But the thing that Dark Ride did that I really appreciated was in about maybe an hour in, it took way too long. This movie definitely has a much better pacing. But about an hour in, it starts actually getting violent. The horror starts happening, and you get a lot of really great deaths and a very manic energy to it that absolutely helps it. Like I was ready to give this thing like 2 stars out of 5, and I wound up giving it a 3 because that last act worked so well for me, despite a few other issues, that it made up for what I felt were some very strong weaknesses, or some very big weaknesses, I guess. And Killer Queen does a very similar thing. While, the first, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of the film, I was very wary. I'd heard bad things. The critics were not nice to this movie. And I was hearing a lot of references, and I really I hate direct references in movies. I hate references that just sound like the screenwriter is trying to prove to you that he's read IMDb trivia. Like, it drives me fucking crazy. But somehow, maybe it's because, what are their names again? I'm so bad at these names. Judah Lewis, Jenna Ortega, they're really solid actors, and so that helps immensely. Jenna Ortega, when she first shows up as Phoebe, I was really worried because she just seemed fucking awful in that first scene. And then she quickly grew on me. And despite, again, making a lot of references, she just was very charming. And I don't know if that's to do with McG. I don't know if he just got the exact right actors. I don't know if it's the screenplay. I don't know what it is exactly. But they just worked. And I so appreciate that. I really appreciate that this movie was able to take things or do things that I fucking hate and still string me along and keep me entertained and in the end deliver a really enjoyable film. Let's see. I don't know that there's anything else to really say about this without spoiling things. But, if you're on the fence about this, and you're a horror fan, I say check it out. Don't expect to be scared. Don't expect it to be a very serious film, but also don't expect it to be too silly either. It does have enough seriousness. There is this point where a film like this can become way too silly to the point where you just don't care. And I cared. I wanted to see these characters get out of the situation. I wanted to see where they wound up. I wanted to see more Ken Marino, which we get a good amount of Ken Marino, which is always welcome. Yeah, I think that Killer Queen is really fun. If you loved Babysitter, I think you'll really enjoy this. You get almost everyone back. Almost every cast member is back in this movie, and plus a few additionals. And they're great. They're really fun to watch. Between them, McGee's very manic energy, and a screenplay that, while very silly, still manages to have some heart. Fuck yeah, man. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched this if I didn't need to watch a Netflix original for my stupid horror movie challenge. I'm glad I watched it, had a good time. I really hope they do a third one. It definitely sets it up. I love that this was a direct continuation. I hope the next one's a direct continuation. I hope it has, preferably more Samara Weaving. She is always great, but at the same time, I had a lot of fun, and she was barely in this movie. So I don't think she is the secret ingredient. I just think she is a very nice spice to put on top. So, yeah, good job, McG. Good job, producers of this film, for putting together something that is stylistically a lot of fun. It's just, it's a good, dumb, silly bit of escapism. And I think we could all use a little bit of dumb, silly escapism right about now. Yeah, so thanks so much for listening to my thoughts on this movie. I know that it's not the popular opinion. At least I think it's not the I don't know. I don't really review a lot of new movies, so this is kind of outside of my wheelhouse. But I really enjoyed it. 3.5 out of 5. Check me out on Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, all that bullshit. It's all linked down below. Buy some of my merch. I got Fat Cat merch. I don't have anything on me right now, but go buy my shit and give me money. Or don't. I don't care. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that jazz. And, until next time, go watch a movie.